I'm going to go on to something else for you, which is a cake that I actually made up. And it starts with some butter. And here I've got 2 sticks of butter in a saucepan. And I've just, excuse me, melted it down. And now to this, I want to add some cocoa, about 1/4 cup of cocoa. So get the cocoa in, that was 1/4 cup, and then I had some shriveled up oranges, so I squeezed the oranges for 1/2 cup of orange juice, fresh, and that goes in. I had some leftover espresso coffee, about 1/2 cup, and that went in. So now that I have that all in, and well blended, I can shut this off, you see? Now what I want to do is mix up my dry ingredients. So for that, I need to bring over the rest of the cake ingredients. So now I want to start with sifting my flour and my sugar. And here I've got 2 cups of flour, unbleached flour, and 2 cups of sugar in my measuring cup, because I hate to wash a lot of utensils. And it's going right in there. And here's a teaspoon of baking soda. This cake goes together very quickly. I want just a pinch of salt. And then I want 2 eggs. So here are 2 eggs in a bowl. I was telling you about chocolate in Italy. You find chocolate in a lot of desserts as a flavoring. And whenever I'm in Italy, I go to the pasticceria to seek out all of the wonderful chocolate desserts. So there are my eggs, beaten up. And now I'm going to add a little bit of almond extract to this. A little bit of almond goes in with that. Wonderful. It's going to give a nice flavor. Do you mind if I have a sip of juice? I'm really feeling badly. It's a wonder I'm even cooking for you today. And now, in goes the cocoa, the coffee, the butter into that mixture. Mascarpone cheese. I love that. This also is from northern Italy. A lot of people think of it as a dessert cheese because it's good just by itself. It's got a slightly sweetened flavor, but it's also good in sauces. And now I just want to mix that up a little bit. So start with 1/2 cup of the mascarpone. And if you can't find mascarpone, well then you could use cream cheese. You could use ricotta cheese that you have let drain very well until all of the extra moisture was out. Okay, that's smooth. So now this can go into my dry mixture. So in that goes, just like that. We get rid of this bowl. And now we can mix this up again. Doesn't this look good already? You know, when I was a kid, I used to love to lick the bowl. I love this mold, and it's all well buttered, you see, in every little nook and cranny. And then what I want to do is take a little bit of cocoa, because this is going to ensure me that this cake is going to come out. And I'm just going to spread this in like so. And now, move this out of the way, and just take that pan and move that excess cocoa around. You see, if I had put flour in that, then I would have white flour on the bottom of my cake, and I really don't want to spoil the look of it. So now the batter is ready to go in. See? And this will take, about 45 minutes to an hour to bake in a 350-degree oven. You're just going to have to use a cake tester. So there's our batter. And now it just looks so good. I can hardly wait until that's baked. It goes into the oven and it stays there. But after it's baked, we have to do something really nice with that. So let me get this out of the way and show you what that is. Now here, I've got some butter, about 5 tablespoons of butter in a frying pan. I want to put a glaze on this cake. So to it, I want to add a few other ingredients. So that was about 5 tablespoons of butter, and here's about 4.5 tablespoons of corn syrup. I use this because this gives a wonderful shine to this cake. Just want to mix that in. And then I've got about 5 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate that goes into this. And I just want that to melt. I'm going to turn the heat up on this. Now you have to be very careful with chocolate when you're melting it. And usually I do chocolate in a double boiler. So this is my glaze. I'm going to turn this down now and add a little bit of coffee, because that's what I started with in the cake, as you remember. So now that's just going to give this a very nice finish, and I want to get that smooth. And in here, I've got white chocolate, about 2 ounces of white chocolate, and you probably know how to use a double boiler, which is to put water in the bottom of the pan, then I put the white chocolate in the top, dry, and let it melt off the heat with a cover on it. Now here's my glaze, and you want to let that cool down a little bit, and then you see I've gone over this cake once, but this really requires a couple of these glazings, and you just go along the cake. Now let me see about my white chocolate here. I'm going to bring that over now. I'm feeling better already, aren't you? And now what you do with this is you just take some of this white chocolate. I'm going to take it out now from underneath, because I don't need that. And then you can just take it. You see how liquid it is? You just take some of that and then just drizzle it. See how beautiful that is? All the way around the cake. You could use a pastry bag for this if you wanted to. Make sure you let the chocolate part, the chocolate glaze, dry first before you put on the white chocolate. I'm doing this for you now because I'm sick and I can do anything that I want to do. So there, I think that's just wonderful. And now I'm going to put that aside, and later on I'm going to take off that wax paper, because if you didn't want to do a glaze, if you were just too lazy to do it, well, then you could do something like this. Here's a cake just made in a round cake pan, and now you can buy these anywhere. These are cake stencils, and you could just put some fresh confectioner's sugar over the top. Let me anchor that so it's just right. And just make a little design by sprinkling the confectioner's sugar over the open holes. You see, just like that. Isn't this nice? It's amazing what I can do when I'm ill. Look at that. And then, after you give it a good sprinkling, well then, you want to take that off very carefully. So let me put that to the side. And just, my hands are clean, by the way. Lift that off. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?